Hello everybody, it's David here from Dingle Lane. You know, one of the things I always do as part of my videos is remind you to talk to your accountants on a regular basis. Get them involved in your decision making. Get them involved in your future plans for your business. Get them involved in what you're doing and how you're running things. Now, there's more reason to that madness than you might otherwise think. It's not just because I'm a nosy little blighter, although I am. But it actually does allow us as your accountants to help us manage, plan and advise you much more effectively. One of the reasons for that got highlighted to me this morning as I was doing my rounds of the news and just keeping an update on what's happening in the world around to see if there were any particular big news items I need to either pass on to you or I need to be aware of myself as a professional advisor. And I got reminded that there are a number of businesses out there who aren't doing this, talking to their accountants, and so are wasting huge amounts of money on company cars at the moment. And I wanted to raise this to sort of as an example of why your accountant needs to be part of your decision-making team. Just as a reminder, company cars, great little tool for businesses that need them. Increasingly less tax efficient than they were. I mean, the good old days when you could just give an employee a car, give them all the fuel and they didn't pay any tax on it are well long gone. My father-in-law was part of that great day, those great days of company car benefits in kind, and remembers very fondly the cars he used to have for that. Now, of course, you have to pay tax on them. Both as an employee, you have to pay tax on your company car, and quite a lot of it, but also as an employer, you have to pay company car tax in the form of employer's national insurance on those vehicles. Why is this important? Well, in the current environment, remember we're still under the coronavirus lockdown, employees aren't allowed to use their cars really at the moment. They're not allowed to take them out of their home, they've got to stay at home. Cars are sitting parked up on their drive doing absolutely nothing. And yet, your employees are paying huge amounts of company car tax every month on the back of their use of the company car, which they're not using. You as an employer are paying huge amounts of company car tax in the form of employers' benefits in employers' national insurance on that benefit in kind every month on a car that your employees aren't using. And of course that's hitting your cash flow, bad as a business person, but equally, given that your employees' income is quite often reduced at the moment, it's hitting their income really hard as well. And it's at times like this, as an employer, we need to be thinking, how can we help our employees as much as we possibly can, as well as ourselves? Well, how does a company car help this? They've got a company car, nothing much we can do about that. Well, yes, there are. And that's because company car tax only applies so long as you make that car available to your employees. If the car isn't available to your employees for use for periods of 30 days or more, then the company car tax ceases on that vehicle. They don't have to pay the benefit in kind anymore, and you don't have to pay the employer's national insurance anymore on that car. You just need to, of course, make sure that you tell the revenue so that you can adjust your employer's national insurance and their PAYE accordingly. But also you need to put in place arrangements to ensure that the vehicle is not available. You can't just say it's not available. It's sitting on the drive. They've got the keys. They could use it if they wanted to break the lockdown restrictions. You want to make sure it's not available. But if you do that, you've saved yourself and your employees a shed load of cash. Now, we all know very well at the moment, we're in lockdown, you can't just have your employees bring your car back to their workplace, drop it off and tootle off home again. That would be it just breaks all the lockdown rules and all the rest of it. It's not essential work, it's not essential travel, yada yada yada, really silly. But the nice thing is the revenue doesn't expect you to do that. You can do really simple things. All your employee has to do is pop their car keys in the post to you, send it registered post, signed for and all the rest of it to keep it secure. And bada bing, the car is not available to them anymore. As a result, as long as that's for 30 days or more, that's their company car tax for that month stopped. They can notify the Inland Revenue online. You can adjust your benefit in kind process so that you're saving yourself the tax on the employer's national insurance. You've made a big difference all around. Those little insights are only available if you're talking to your accountant on a regular basis. Do they know you've got the company cars? Have they been speaking to them? Have you had the opportunity to be reminded of these things so that you can put them in place in time for your payroll? Some of you may well have already have run your April payrolls and missed out on this fact that you could have been doing this, or at least thinking about it. Get it in place ready for your May payroll. It's unlikely that the lockdown is going to stop much earlier than that, I would think, but then again, I'm not a government advisor, I'm not a future fit kind of thinking person, I'm not a futurologist or whatever they call them. I'm just a guy looking at what's going on in the world around him and trying to do his best for his clients while he's at it. But there you are, simple ideas, but it's an example of where not talking to your accountant, and all of my clients are going to be doing this because they've been talking to me during this process. In fact, most of them don't use company cars except in very limited circumstances because they're not terribly efficient. There are, in many ways, more efficient ways of getting the money out of the business. But on occasions, they are the most practical way of doing things, and we've sorted that out in advance. But anyway, just some ideas. This is why I bang on about talking to your accountant. So anyway, that's enough me whittering for the day. You have a fabulous day. Enjoy the weather. It's Friday today, so we're coming up to the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. The weather is supposed to be really, really good this weekend, which is great. I've got loads of work to do in the garden and on the farm myself. So take care and catch up later. This is David from Dingle Lane. Nanu nanu.